Have you ever thought of adding a product to your business, but you just didn't know where to start? Well, the answers are right here, right now, on the Scale or Fail show. Looking to add a product or a product suite to your business, then you definitely want to watch this or listen to this segment of the Scale or Fail show. I am Allison Maslan, your host. I am also a business mentor and a serial entrepreneur. I love business, and today I've brought on two experts so that they can pull the curtain open the door for you to see how easy it is to have your own private label product. Karen and Neil Gwartzmann are the founders of Private Label University, best-selling authors of Private Label Secrets, and creators of the easy-to-follow step-by-step signature process, Private Label Blueprint, so that you know exactly what to do step by step. For more than 3 decades, Karen and Neil have been private labeling products for some of the largest retailers around the globe, making them two of the most experienced and successful private label experts you will find in the world. Absolutely. So hang on tight. At Private Label University, Karen and Neil know the hidden secrets of how to find the perfect product for your business. So it's not just about finding a product, it's finding the one that fits your business. We're going to talk about that today. How to create it the right way for you and your clients and get it on the right platform to reach up to 600 times more clients than you're reaching now. 600 more times. Crazy. They've also tested and identified the key steps required to sell millions of dollars in private label products on a website, on Amazon and other online marketplaces, as well as in retail. So Karen and Neil,
thank you.
So glad you're here.
So thank you for having us.
And they are also a husband and wife in business. People call them the dynamic duo. Yeah. So man, private labeling is definitely your thing, and we're going to dive into that today. So just to back it up a little bit and give you all some history. I actually met Karen, I met Karen first. I was doing a speaking engagement in Denver where their headquarters are. And that's how Karen and I met. And then she sort of kind of roped Neil in a little bit and then we've been working together ever since. So this has been 5 years ago, amazing, in Pinnacle Global Network. And they, were already top experts in the product manufacturing and private label space, right? And have been able to help many of our clients in this space. So how did you, because you've been doing this for 3 decades, how did you get into it in the first place?
Again, thank you so much for having us here.
Oh,
it's an honor and a pleasure being here. So.
I just jumped right ahead.
Well, it's not really a long story. Our family was in the retail manufacturing as well as distribution business, and for over 50 years. And my father was private labeling, early on. And I was always involved in the business. I was always working the business after school, on summer breaks. So being involved in the business, seeing what's going on. I started college and I thought I'd pursue a career, get an MBA, be more involved with the business. And I just found that going to school didn't offer everything I needed to know. All the things that he was doing, from importing and manufacturing, they weren't teaching at school. Right. And I was spending more time always involved in the business. And finally I decided I would just leave college and go full force in the business and spend more time with the manufacturing part of it, with traveling, doing trade shows, manufacturing, importing, and working in the business full time. Yeah,
I love it. Which that could be a whole show altogether because it's kind of like the entrepreneurial journey, right? And you do, and I'm not, dismissing college or anything and the value of that and just the life experience of it. But man, there's no way to learn business better than being on the job, right?
Right. Having that experience, you'd ask professors questions about, different government institutions and what they're doing, and they didn't know. They didn't have the answers. I go back home and talk to my dad about it, and he had the answers.
Yeah.
So these were things that he was doing, he was filing, he was reporting, and I started doing a lot of that. So I took on all the international business, again, traveling around the world, working with the manufacturers, and then, a lot of the retail chain stores. So Walmart started to come to me, Hobby Lobby came to me, Michael's, Toys R Us, independent retailers from, especially in Canada where we were based, and then in the United States, I was traveling all around and I was private labeling the products for them.
Right.
And so, just offering that opportunity to them, they were amazed of what I could offer.
Yeah, and it seems like, and we'll get into it now, I know, Karen, you have a lot to add to this, but it seems like to a lot of people when they think of private labeling or overseas, it seems like such an overwhelming thing, but here you've done it for like a lot of your life.
Since 1986.
Wow.
So back in the 80s, and again, working in the business for so long, I guess before it was really a cool term to say, private labeling or white labeling, which a lot of people are familiar with.
Maybe explain what private labeling is, because I think a lot of people don't even understand what the term private labeling is.
Definitely. Good place to start.
Yeah, well, private labeling and white labeling means taking a product and basically putting your label on it, making it your own.
Right.
And ownership of that product. And really with almost any product, you're using a product, whether you be a yoga instructor or a service provider, you're providing a service, you create a product and you have that product, you want to offer that to your clients. If you have your label on it, it's yours.
Right, and we talk about this a lot in Pinnacle and in my book, Scale or Fail, is, you already have clients that know and love you. Mm-hmm. And so why not add more value, right? They already trust you. They're going to look for this from somebody else. Why not have them buy it from you?
Right.
Absolutely.
Right?
And people always say, I've never seen anything private labeled. But if you go into, say, Costco, for example, Costco has a brand, Corcoran, and they're regular products. Those same products might be in Walmart, might be in Target, might be in Walgreens, might be somewhere else, or at a King Soopers or another grocery store. But they're the same
brand, not
same product from the same manufacturer, just has a different brand. Kirkland, Target, Walmart.
Oh, I have Kirkland in my refrigerator right now.
Yeah, and you could. So it's just a brand that we all know. It's a product that you could get anywhere, but it has now your own brand on it.
Yeah, it's interesting because I think a lot of people, if they do know private labeling, they might think of it as cosmetics or hair products, but not necessarily food or other household items.
Right. It's not just Colgate and Crest that are, a private label. There's, again, like Karen said, you go into Kirkland. Kirkland is just a name for Costco, but it's a product.
Yeah.
And any of those products could have your brand on it.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so now you've transitioned, because I think you still work with some of the big box stores too, but you have Private Label University now. Mm-hmm. And so can you tell, let me back up a little bit. Sorry about this, but private labeling, it's not a new term. This has been around for a while.
Mm-hmm. So private labeling started literally at the beginning of trade with the caveman. In our book, Private Label Secrets, there's a little drawing of the caveman. And it's like, I'll give you this. They put their brand on it and they trade it around. So it's actually been around since the beginning of time. And it started really in the food industry. People were private labeling products in the food industry. And over time, what we have been seeing is kind of like a secret strategy, a business strategy, private labeling. And people were starting to integrate it into the chain stores. And it started getting into, the Macy's and the Walmarts and using private labeling to expand their business. And that's what Neil has been doing for the last, 35 years. When we moved from Canada to the States, I was in the service-based business. I had my own practice in Canada as a dental hygienist. I had my own practice, and I was working as in the dental industry. When we came to the United States, I had to give up my license. And so I took on the best job ever, don't get me wrong. I was a full-time mom, and it just doesn't pay well. So it doesn't. So I said to Neil, I have a great idea.
A lot of work.
I have a great idea for a product. Teach me what you teach these big chain stores. And he thought I was insane. I'm going to teach you that? And so he did. He taught me how to do my first private label product. This was 18 years ago. And this is before Amazon, before anything. And I launched my very first private label product that took off and did really well. And it was great because not only did it add additional revenue coming in by selling products, but I didn't know anyone when I moved to the States. Yeah. So it connected me to people. Wow. And allowed me to actually, I have friends now. A lot of them are because of this product, that it helped me meet people living in Denver. So from that, I thought, if he can teach me, who knows nothing about products, nothing about sales, nothing about any of that, we could be teaching everyone to do this. This is a strategy that anyone can do. If I can do it, anyone can do it. And so that's how we develop Private Label University, create a place where people can come to and we can teach this simple strategy that all these big chain stores have been keeping a secret.
Yeah. That's fantastic. I mean, it's interesting because you don't realize how much knowledge you have because you've just been doing it. So it seems normal. So like when I got into the business coaching world, I'd been a business owner for, at least a couple decades by then. And it's like second nature, right? But it is such a value to people. It's life-changing, really. Mm-hmm. So how many private label products have you created?
Great question. Actually, I've been always totaling them up, but 889 personal products that I've private labeled. And that's not including all the products that I've done for the chain stores, the independent retailers.
Oh, wow.
889 products that we've private labeled.
For you personally yourself.
Personal products that we've sold to retailers and distributors.
Right.
Because we have products in how many stores do we have products?
Over 600 stores.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Mm-hmm. Right. And I bet it's probably like a couple million at least when you add in all the products that you've done for others.
It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah. So they know their stuff is basically what and this is in many countries too, right?
Correct. Over 25 countries. And again, totaling up all the countries that I've actually done business, imported, manufactured, done actual trade with, whether it be just having a product developed, manufactured, imported, but over 25 countries.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And of course, the great thing is it allowed me to travel to a lot of them. So
so he speaks many different languages.
A little bit of many different languages, but that's been, it's sometimes difficult when you're raising a family, but the need for, if I have to do an inspection or an audit of a factory, or just make sure that, if they claim they're doing fair trade there, I actually would fly to the factory for 1 or 2 days just to check on things. I want to make sure who's producing the product, see the environment and make sure it's satisfactory to me.
Yeah, and that alone, I mean, because a lot of when you're doing business with countries like China, it's a lot about the relationship.
Yes.
It's very different than how we do business here, although relationships are extremely important, but I know they value it so much.
Yes. One of the things, we do a live event in China every year annually, and one of the things that we teach, it's not teaching necessarily private labeling. What we're teaching is how to do international business. And that, as Neil said, with school, and hopefully none of our kids are listening because they have to go to college, but you don't get taught that stuff in college. So we get approached, and we're now actually looking at getting into the universities, into the business programs to teach this, because it's so important to understand international business. Yeah. Because even doing business in Canada and coming here and do business, it's different.
Yeah. I think my brother's degree is international business, but I don't think he ever really learned the nuts and bolts of international business. So, and so you have created Private Label University. So let's talk about that a minute. Mm-hmm. What is that?
So Private Label University is a training platform teaching how to find a product, how to put your brand on it, and how to get it in front of millions, actually 500 plus millions of people online and into retail stores.
Wow. So from step one,
from how to find
A to Z, right? Mm-hmm. So you're definitely going to want to check that out. And so what are the benefits of private labeling that business owners don't realize? I mean, they might be thinking, I have to manufacture a product, or I have to come up with that idea, or that invention. So what's the advantage of going private label instead?
There's so many advantages, but the biggest, I think, benefit is impact. So a lot of, say, service-based businesses, it's hard to reach so many people. And to make the biggest impact, it's through products. Because with products, you can get on platforms like Amazon or Walmart or even on your website and reach people around the world. Once they have your product, you're able to then reach them with your services. So that's one big thing, is the impact. The second one is it's an additional revenue stream. And I have to pull something about this. Always sits in my head. You did a webinar that I was on, and one of the things that you said, and it sits in my brain, is that you said the number one thing in your business is that you have to make sure that you are generating revenue every single day. It's hard as a service-based business to be generating revenue every single day. Products do that every single day.
Right.
Neil has on his phone this ringer that makes me crazy because it goes off 24/7. Anytime there's a product that's sold, it goes cha-ching, cha-ching. And I'm like, oh my God, but that's exactly it. We know that if services aren't being provided every day, then we know products are being sold every day. So it adds an additional revenue stream.
Sometimes it's an easier decision for people to make, to buy a product, especially a lower dollar item, but it's a great entryway.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
Towards
And it's
your
yours.
brand.
Yeah.
Yes.
And you're not sending people away. So this is probably the biggest thing that we see. We see, like, there was a veterinarian that actually came to us, and she sees animals, obviously, and she would recommend these supplements for the animals. And so what she would say is go on to Amazon or go into Vitamin Cottage and go purchase these supplements. And so I said to her, you're sending people away when you could be taking that revenue in right then and there. And it could have it's a private label, easy to do. You find the product, put your brand on it, and then share it with them.
So what do you feel is the roadblock for people? What do you feel like is the biggest misunderstandings about private labeling?
I think people think that when they're getting involved with private labeling or white labeling, that they have to order thousands and hundreds of thousands of products, or they have to order of an item. Oh, it's so much, I'm going to have to order tens of thousands. And that's not the way it is. You can order, there's ways of placing small orders with factories. Again, factories around the world are eager to do business. So if you're bringing to them an order or a new product, they want to get involved with it. So you don't have to order and invest tens of thousands of dollars for private labeling or white labeling a product.
And I think that's the biggest myth about private labeling is the money. It's going to cost too much. So I want to share a story with you.
Okay, good.
So our son, I would say my son, but our son, at the age of 13, with $500, came to us and said, I have this idea for a product and I'd like to private label it. And I thought, oh, okay, I guess he's listening to us. Interesting, he's our entrepreneur. And I said, sure, show me what you're looking at. And he did, and I turned to Neil and went, oh my goodness, is this gonna work? I can't even figure this out. Like, I can't even understand it. But he has that mind of, maybe he's onto something. So he said he tested it with some of his friends. Everyone's in love with it. So I thought, okay, let's go ahead, but this is the deal. You have to do the work. I'm gonna put you through the program. So he went through the program with us, of course, assisting him through the program. And with $500, not a big investment, for him it was a big investment, he private labeled his very first product. It was pre-sold. He made enough money to go to college for 4 years with this one product, starting at $500.
Can you tell us what the product is?
And he bought a Mercedes, is an SL 500.
Oh my God.
Convertible.
With a 500.
And at that time he was 15. He didn't even have a license.
Wow.
Yes. So
that's
pretty amazing.
So you really can have a small investment for the entryway. So for those and a small quantity too, because you might just want to test it first.
Exactly.
And that's exactly what he did.
So you don't have a garage full of products.
And he started with a small investment, and he didn't know anything about private labeling. That's what I said, it's just a process. Once you know it, you just implement it, and it works. We wouldn't be doing it for 35 years if it didn't work.
Yeah, that is so wild. So there are probably products that are better quality than others, and that's something that you all are experts at. What are some things, some tips that people can, protect themselves and avoid those pitfalls of getting real lemon products?
And I think when it comes to, there are different levels of products. And I think when we're so accustomed to, you go into a store, you see it on the shelf, that's the one level of quality of that product.
So one choice.
You have no choices. When you start working with companies overseas, not just in China, in any other countries, there's different levels. They can make it to the quality that you want.
Okay.
I'm sure Apple they said we want it this quality. Maybe there's a better quality that can be made, and maybe there's lower level qualities.
Right.
But because there's all of different qualities of phones.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with products. When you're working with factories, let's say in China, they'll say, what quality do you want? If you want it, you're going to spend this amount, this is the quality we can produce. You want to spend a little more, we can produce at this quality. So you have the ability to control that. And that's, I think, the nice thing when you're getting involved with different products and private labeling products.
And I think also a lot of people, if anyone's tried to look for a product online, a lot of people go to a site called Alibaba. Have you heard of Alibaba?
Yeah.
Do you want to maybe just quickly say what Alibaba is?
Yeah, for those who aren't familiar with Alibaba,
Yeah.
it's just a seller site in China. You could be anyone in China. You could be a neighbor, an uncle, a retailer, a person working in another job and want to sell a product. You go to a place, you buy it, you put it on Alibaba, and you can sell it.
Right.
So there's so many variations on there.
So a lot of the marketing has gone on saying you'll meet factories there, manufacturers there, but actually you don't. Anyone can sell. It's just like an Amazon in a sense. Anyone can sell. So the prices are very high and the quality is very low. So you don't know what you're going to get and who you're dealing with.
Right.
So a tip is try to stay away from Alibaba unless you're going to be educated and really understand how that platform works and how you can understand who you're actually working with on the other side.
Right.
And that will help with the quality control if you're not going directly to China. Because if you're going to go directly to China, then that is the best way to do it because the prices are going to be significantly lower. We actually did an experiment on Alibaba because we actually had one of our manufacturers go on Alibaba and price things, and then we compare to what we would get going directly in China. And what was it, 600? Was it 600 times the amount that you pay there? Yeah.
Oh my
So people think like, oh, I got a great deal.
And when we
It's
asked them,
so
they said,
expensive.
we can. I said, why is the price so high? And they went, because we can. Nobody knows.
I think it's one of our videos on YouTube. Yeah, we did a whole thing on that. So
yeah.
And that's the unfortunate thing with Alibaba when people are looking. Again, starting that relationship.
Yes.
It's difficult online.
And going there and seeing it and touching it and feeling it and all of
just
that.
saves so much time and money.
Or working with someone like you've already got those relationships and you know what to look for, which is key. So Amazon is one of the biggest markets for private labeling, and it's opened the door for so many people to get a product out there that otherwise wouldn't have that opportunity. There's pros and cons with working on Amazon.
Absolutely.
And I've talked to people, some do well and others want to pull their hair out. So what do you have to say about that?
We call it the Amazon stock market. Do we not? It's a love-hate relationship. Amazon is a wonderful place to start building a brand, but it is not a wonderful place to create wealth, if that makes sense. So when someone's starting to private label, you have a new brand and you don't have an audience, you want to get up on Amazon. And even if you do have an audience, you still want to get on Amazon because you want the exposure of your brand out there. And you're able to reach over 500 million people around the world. But what happens is there's a lot of overhead. So you hear a lot of people on YouTube and on Facebook, and I made $1 million on Amazon. I made all this money on Amazon. But they made sales on Amazon, maybe $1 million in sales. But when you do the numbers, a lot of them, and we see a lot of them, actually have made less money. But we use it as a platform to get noticed, to get the brand noticed. But the money is outside of Amazon. And so that's actually a book that we're launching this summer and a new program this summer to add to that. Once you're on Amazon, you need to go off, or not off, but add to.
Diversify. Yeah.
And diversify. And so we're showing you how to get into retail chain stores.
Wow, I love that. And the thing is that anytime you're dependent on one platform, right? We talk about that because anytime you're dependent on one client or one employee or one vendor or one platform, you're really setting yourself up to be in trouble, because what if Amazon shuts you out, which happens, right? And then they really own the database.
So Amazon is in total control of everything. Those clients on Amazon are not your clients. So we use it in a way just to build your brand. And it's a great way, because you can't just build something or create something and then get into a retail chain store. You have to build up credibility. And with our experience and our knowledge, what we have found is a lot of buyers at some of these big chain stores aren't even going out to look at products. They're going on sites like Amazon and Walmart.com and looking for these amazing products that you may have and asking you to come into their stores.
So they're proving themselves on Amazon.
Building the credibility.
Right, and building that momentum. I remember with my first book, Blast Off, when I was just trying to get an agent and, having a hard time getting anyone to listen to me, this one agent said, well, just go sell 5,000 books first, and after you sell 5,000 books, come talk to me, right? So it's the same kind of thing. When they see something that's really hot, they're more likely to want to get behind it.
Right, and you're not using Amazon a private label. You're going to private label before that, and then you're going to use
that
Amazon as a platform
to sell
that product.
That's just a medium to reach the customer.
Exactly.
Right. And there's so many things that you can do with that too. We've had clients who we've helped private label a product, launch them on Amazon. They didn't want to go to retail, and so they used it within their business to either send their clients there, which is nice because then you don't have to warehouse anything. You could just drop ship, there, and it's still private labeled, which is wonderful. And we've also had clients who have sold their Amazon businesses. So there's that whole scale.
Yeah, exactly. I remember with Kara Golden, who is the founder of Hint Water, and she talked about that at our event. She did well on Amazon, but she couldn't get the data. So now they have their beverage is a subscription program. She's gone direct to consumer, but the Amazon helped to get the word out. So it was definitely a good place to start. And so, how does someone know what is the direction to go? Amazon, retail, website. How do you help them make that decision?
Well, website, of course, it's your website. So it's like your business card. So if someone knows your name, so if they see you on Amazon, the first thing that they're going to do, think about it as a shopper, right? You're going to go on Amazon. This is at least what I do. Go on Amazon, I see something. Oh, I'm going to go look at that company and see. And then I start looking at pricing. I learn more about the company. So website for sure. You have to have your stuff on a website. And then if you're new to private labeling or to your brand, then I would get onto not just Amazon. There's so many online platforms to get in front of people. So I would use that. And then, of course, we build into retail. Because ideally, retail is where you want to go. You're not selling... On Amazon, you're selling to one person at a time. When you get into retail, you're selling to many at a time.
Right, and you help people get into retail.
Absolutely, and that's what the program is. We're going to launch.
That's so exciting because I think people get intimidated with the buyers and all of that. But you
we have the templates, everything.
Yeah, that's so cool. So you definitely want to check this out. And so some of the common challenges that people come to you with, what are they?
The number one thing is, I don't know what product. I have no idea what product. And we love that because you do know what product. We just there's a perfect product for everyone, and not all products are created equal. I may have a product that works wonders for me, and I'm going to give it to you, the idea, and I want you to private label it, and it's going to be a bomb. because it's just not the right product for you. So we really invest our time in helping you find that perfect product because we don't want you to fail.
Right.
So we do a product discovery session, and in that, every single person leaves with that category and product ideas so that they can develop their own brands or product lines.
Right, and something they can be excited about, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
And that's the goal.
Yeah. Do you find, because obviously they want to find a product that's a bestseller and, you know, it's definitely all about the money, but do you find when someone is emotionally invested in the product or that they feel a connection to, that they're more successful with it?
Absolutely. I find the biggest mistake is going with what's the bestseller, because let me tell you, every product sells if it's in the right hands and it's backed up by the right person.
I love that, Karen. I think that's so true. I think it's, you know,
And
They get it mixed
it
up.
is true. I mean, we see it. We know products. We've seen so many products, and it really is.
and if you care about it, you're going to put more energy into it, right? Because you're going to have frustrations. Things happen. That's just business.
Absolutely.
But if you're more aligned with it, then, you know, you're going to give it more of what it needs to succeed. This is so interesting. I mean, we could go on and on and on with this. Isn't this cool? I mean, are you like on the edge of your seat? I know that your mind is going right now, right? So you really need to reach out to Karen and Neil at Private Label University, and you take people to China. I mean, A to Z. This is exactly what they do. And you have a gift for everybody. And so it's 3 quick steps to find the perfect product for your coaching, service, or startup brand. Can you tell us about that?
It's, you know, like I said, the number one question that we get is, how do I find that product? How do I find the perfect product for me? So we created an ebook for you so that you can just read through it, and it gives you some quick steps on starting the process of finding that perfect product for you.
That's awesome. And we do have that on our library at AllisonMaslan.com/library. But how do people go directly to you? How do they reach you?
PrivateLabelUniversity.com.
Very simple, very simple. And they're just the warmest, loveliest people who I just adore. And so excited for you and all that you're doing. And I've seen you help so many people. So hopefully you are the next one. All right. Well, thank you.
Well, thanks
Thank
for
you so much
having
for having
us.
us.
Yeah,
it's been a
this
pleasure.
is awesome. And so I hope you've enjoyed this episode of the Scale or Fail Show. And until next time, make sure and search us out. We're on Spotify, we're on iTunes, anywhere that you find podcasts. There's the video version, there's the audio version. And if you want more information also on our business coaching mastermind, check out pinnacleglobalnetwork.com. And until next time, get out there and elevate yourself because you are worth it. All right. Bye, everybody.
People always talk about they want to be part of 7-figure companies. I'm now part of 7, 8, and 9-figure companies. I've been introduced to some of the largest corporations, Fortune 500 companies, and it's with Allison's help, she's kind of expanded my horizons and my capabilities. And I think that's the most important thing, where she expands, she makes you know what you can do and be successful at that.
Being with Allison and being able to learn who to hire and why to hire and how to develop a passionate, creative, inspired team was really, really important for me because I needed to shift some energy in my business. And I feel like with her help, I've really done that.
Pinnacle helped me grow my company to where at this point, a year ago, I made $1 million more than I did at this point last year. So I really wanted to break that ceiling. I've hit that ceiling for several years in a row, and Pinnacle has helped me do that by implementing the thought. It's actually just a thought process and how you view your company and how you view what you're doing. I think a lot of us entrepreneurs are hard on ourselves and are hard on our companies when it's not that, we shouldn't be that way. So I think it's just looking at things a little bit differently, putting into practice the systems that she teaches us. For example, if you want an example, putting people in place to where I want my business to be at in 2-3 years. So I've got people right now in place, and it's wild. It's just like all the work is coming in, and we're in place, and we're not stressed out. And it's just amazing. It's just an amazing place to be.
What I love most about being in the Pinnacle is constant access to support. So whether it be my mastermind group or the recorded resources that Allison has produced for us, or the constantly cutting edge information that's coming to us on social media, Facebook ads, how to conduct webinars, I mean, you name it, we have a resource for it.
So since joining Pinnacle, we've added 12 new positions to the company. We've increased revenue about 43%. We've increased profit by 111% this year. More importantly, I've gotten out of some roles that I was in, like QA manager, and some of the marketing things that I was doing are now outsourced, or not outsourced, insourced to a team member. And I've really focused in on running the business instead of letting it run me.
Coaching opportunities out there, and a lot of times I'm a little bit suspicious. It's a kind of a sales job, you know, are they in it for themselves, are they in it for me? And at no time have I ever felt with Pinnacle that my best interest was not #1 priority. And it's truly an organization, and not just Allison and the coaches, but everyone there. It's coming from a place of giving and working for mutual benefit, a lot of sharing going on, and that's a great team to work with.
Right off the bat, I laid a foundation for my coaching practice, and I increased my prices, and within 1 week I had signed 2 high-paying clients that had basically paid for my coaching program with Allison, and since then my income has doubled every single month.
It's been tremendous, but being a part of the community has been the greatest asset. I've been so fortunate and blessed to befriend so many other amazing entrepreneurs who I learn from on a regular basis, who always have my back, like-minded people that I surround myself with, and the environment is so positive. I just cannot speak highly enough of it, and I am always compelled to share it with everyone I know. I feel it is the biggest gift to introduce and share this opportunity to connect with this kind of community with everybody that I know.
Don't be the company like I was, being in business for over 12 years, looking back and saying, what did I do in the last 10 years? Do it now. Now is all we have. We don't have the past and we don't have the future. All we have is now.
I've been in business for 21 years now, and I've worked with a number of business coaches. And I watched Allison for 4 years and the results that her clients had when they worked with her. And I finally decided this is the next coach that I'm gonna hire, because she is the real deal. She is available to her people. She absolutely cares deeply about each and every individual and the success of their business. And you know what? We have to, in business, take risks. And sometimes taking risk is hiring that new coach. This is a risk worth taking.
There is nothing like it. I can't even explain what the opportunity and the learning that comes with Pinnacle. Don't even think about it, because if you think about it, that's the #1 thing that will hold you back. Just do it. You won't regret it.
You just need to do it. I mean, you have to stop being on the fence. You have to get off the fence is boring. The fence is, honestly, I was on the fence for, oh gosh, I was on the fence for maybe 2 years. And it was a horrible fence to sit on. I hated the fence because the fence kept me stuck. And it was when I finally jumped off the fence that my business skyrocketed.